Hello, guys. Welcome back. It is Jack, and I am super excited today to introduce to you the Airborne and SF deck. I fell in love with this deck almost immediately, and for all the reasons that you guys probably know and love. You get great helicopters, you get almost a 3,000 point air tab, which is pretty insane. And it gave me a new play style, and that's, I think, one of the things I really want to try and leverage in every single deck. And deep dive is not just like playing different decks in the same way, but trying to do them a little different, right? So for like armored and SF, I tried to do the nuke, like heavy pushing with a defensive back line, and then, using the nuke, right? I felt like that was a unique thing there. So this one is all about the airdrops, right? I know people out there love airdrops. I know that it's a very fun way to play the game. It's like such a cool way to play Broken Arrow, and I think it's a very unique tool that you don't really get in a lot of other RTSs, to like compile a bunch of troops into a transport plane and then yeet them out all over the map. And I see people doing it a lot, and unfortunately I see people using it in a way that gets them killed, right? Either the units are getting shot while they're coming out of the plane, or worst case scenario, the plane gets shot down before it even reaches a target. So I'm super excited today. I'm so glad you guys are here, and I wanted to kind of showcase the how and why and tips and tricks guide of how I use the airdrop right in this Airborne and SF deck. One of the best things I think about the deck combination of Airborne and SF is just about all of your infantry can be paradropped. Your recon and your infantry tab are basically filled with airdroppable infantry. So that's a really cool thing to note about this combo. And I really think if you want to bring Airborne and SF, keep that paradrop function in mind, right? So some of the key points here just right off the bat is never, and I mean please guys, never do your airdrop until you know for sure that the skies are safe, right? And then the other point is with this deck is I try to be the guy that's on the flag that's like really out of the way, and basically one guy needs to hold it. That's what I like to, where I like to put this deck, right? Because you don't bring out a ton of units quickly. You kind of bring out units in large waves. So if you're fighting multiple players, you will end up getting overwhelmed. But some of the maps that I love to play this deck on is like Snow Castle, at the castle, because you can do a big airdrop early and then slowly reinforce it. Or on this map, which I think you guys have seen before in my tips and tricks, is all the way at A, right? It's a really wide flank map. Basically, one guy needs to hold it. And as you see now, the air war is basically over. And I feel pretty safe that there aren't going to be any other planes. So it's really important you guys see I'm bringing a variety of units in my Hercules, and I'm customizing how I want the plane to drop, right? So making sure that you're dropping over an area where there's buildings nearby is super important. You don't want any of your guys dropping out in the middle of the field. And the Killer Egg, okay, so definitely a different use case for me with this deck and the Killer Egg. I'm still bringing my Killer Eggs out, but I'm not doing any crazy weird backline scouts and dives. I want to see what my enemy is bringing. And there's a couple of times I've used this, and it's saved my butt a number of times, because when I bring these out, I say, okay, look, I see some BMOTs. Okay, well, what does that tell me? That tells me that the enemy is bringing a lot of infantry, right? 2 Derevitsayas, and they're not Sosnas, they're Derevitsayas, so I know that, okay, if I do a big helicopter, if I try to reinforce myself with helicopters, I'm going to be facing 2 of those. So that really helps me know what my enemy is bringing. Okay, so second thing, right? Now you see I have a variety of units. I have some tow teams, I have some line infantry with the Airborne, Rangers RRC, a Moz team, and a Stinger team. That is super important. You want to be able to cover all your bases. You don't want to go on this flank where you're going to hold the line by yourself and then be caught out without the ability to counter whatever the enemy might bring. The other big important thing I want you guys to see is the supply drop. Dropping supplies is also very important, so you have the ability to reinforce. And then here we go. So right away, I want you guys to see that I'm spreading my units out, right? You don't want to put all of your units in one building because you want to be able to have units spread out and create a layer of defense. If you need to retreat units back, you want to be able to pull them back and have other units behind you that aren't suppressed with red. So I am pretty well holding off all this big assault that this guy has. Again, the layers of defenses is helping me push them back and keep them off of me. Now, those Derevitsayas with those 57s from long range, definitely doing some work. But I have my Rangers RRC in the front to spot for the tow teams, right? Now, they're not the cat tow like the USMC. These are just tows, so they basically don't have any good weapons. But you see, now that those 2 infantry units up in that front building are very low health, I am able to fall back and have my other infantry units screen for me. So I did bring a longbow, but as you saw, I didn't charge him up ahead because I knew he had 2 Derevitsayas. I tried to keep it low and keep it in an area where I can get cover very quickly, right? So now you saw that tow 2A team was actually able to help defend and support my ally on my left. Now he's in bad shape, right? He's actually been pushed out. Looks like 3 Barbarouses, you know, kind of bull rushed him, and he didn't have the ability to defend all that. So I say, okay, look, there's no anti-air over there. If this guy brought out 3 Barbarouses, I doubt he has any AA. So I'm trying to rotate my longbow over again, keep it at low altitude as far away as possible. And I brought myself some fresh reinforcements here. Now, these reinforcements, oh, thank God my buddy's cruise missiles, or my buddy intercepted those cruise missiles. But this longbow able to do massive damage on the flank. And see also here too, I'm swapping out my unhealthy infantry or out of ammo infantry with fresh infantry, right? So again, that's another thing you guys want to be able to do is rotate your infantry around. So as I'm bringing the ones that are out of ammo back or low on health back, I can bring the fresh ones and put them up in the front. Now I am very low on tows. My Hellfires are all out of my longbows. I've been doing some work, but I killed a Barbarous and was heavily damaged another one. So this guy went from 3 Barbarouses to basically 1 very weak one and 2 very weak ones now. And again, I have plenty of infantry that's fresh up in the front. And if you notice that Airborne right there, I hid him behind the building because I didn't want him to get spotted, right? I put him back so he didn't get spotted. And again, now I'm putting my Stinger team up front. I see that helicopter coming in, and I'm moving my tow missile back to get resupplied. So now, again, it's very important as you're doing this, you need to constantly be mindful of the points that you have and be bringing in supplies and new units constantly. Hiding, Maz infantry behind the building. Again, if you're not actively engaging in infantry unit or a vehicle, it's best to hide your units behind so not getting spotted.
Yes, I got out.
Big cruise missile strike, but I'm able to just barely get the Stinger team out. How awesome is that? That Stinger team would have definitely been dead, but able to micro it back was pretty cool. And able to get this Osprey up here with some supplies to heal up my longbow and get him back in the action. Now, you guys, I think one of the cool things to note in this game is you can just sell those units. Now, I wouldn't have gotten nearly as many points back if I would have sold it, but then I'm not having to spend the resources to resupply it. I could just sell it and bring out a fresh one. But in this case, I didn't do that. But just to let you guys know, that is a very viable option. So now, okay, so see, when you're at this point now that the enemy's pissed, that like you completely just wrecked their assault against you, you guys see, they're going to start launching artillery at you, and that's pretty normal. And so I decided to bring out some Thunderbolts. Now, the Thunderbolt is really awesome, and I want you guys to know that the Thunderbolt has 525 pen on its main gun. Now, what that means is that it has the same pen as the SEP V3. it's just on a very light chassis. So you want to try to keep that thing basically at max range and be firing that extremely powerful cannon as far away as possible. So now that I am feeling pretty safe with, you know, the infantry that I have rotating in and out, getting resupplied, I'm now going to start using my air tab. Again, with a 3,000 point air tab, you want to constantly be using it to whittle down the enemy. I mean, obviously this is just super annoying. They just keep spamming me with airstrikes. But the Strike Eagle able to get in and kill one of those, oh gosh, what's it called? I'm totally blanking. The Bertino. Able to kill one of the Bertinos and gets away with it. Again, that's honestly the most important thing with committing any airstrikes is you need to be able to get out alive. If you can't get out alive, then you're really negating the destruction core or score that you could get with a plane. So try to always make sure you can get them out alive. Now, it has cluster bombs. Another thing to note, guys, with any plane is you want it to be as cheap as possible to get the job done. So mine is only 365. I put the fewest amount of cluster bombs on it possible so it can just get the damage and get out. My buddy with a Comanche trying to help me out, which was awesome. But those Sapogs in the building tanked all that damage, and then he gets out. So longbow here, guarding on the flank. Really cool thing to do with your longbow when you're not actively using it is just have it sit out on the flanks and defending you. But yeah, look at that. Su-57 uncontested in our backline. That's embarrassing. But yeah, keep your longbows on your flanks, right? If they're not like at the front fighting something, nothing wrong with this. I'm doing a very risky maneuver right here, trying to resupply my tow team at the front. But let's, it's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for me here. But that's, again, this is the real key part of this deck, guys, is getting your infantry up, getting the infantry you need up to your front line using airdrops and helicopters, and then constantly cycling them back to get healed, reinforced, rearmed. And again, you want those supplies far back enough that they're not going to just easily get seen and artied, right? So that was a very risky maneuver I pulled there, dropping those supplies up. So as soon as he was done resupplying, I picked those supplies up and moved them back. Now, I do understand that is a lot of micro, but that way you can keep the unit up at the front line without having to bring it back. Now, those Rangers RRC are doing all the spotting over there, so that's what allows my tow team to be effective and get all of its attacks in. All of them hit. Of course, he's going to pop smoke, but that's what you want to do with that kind of Rangers RRC up there. Friendly airstrike, kind of ineffective, and oh gosh, those Catrans being disgusting. Now, I'm just gonna say this for all of you guys playing RU that love your Catrans and you just like to cruise missile from the back of the map and woohoo, I'm gonna fire 4 cruise missiles because I'm amazing. Yeah, okay, cool, you can go ahead and do that. But just want to give you guys a little pro tip. If you fire your cruise missiles and then sell the Catran, it reloads just as fast as if you were to leave it out on the map, and guess what? You're not paying that tax on having the Catran out. So don't do this where you're just sitting on it, right, while it's reloading. Reload it, like fire your cruise missiles off and then sell it. But I want you guys to also see the TOW 2B. Now, this is a really amazing little tow launcher because the cool thing about it is it has the BB missile. Oh, this hurt me right here. Oh my gosh. Oh, that hurt. Yeah, so quick tip, longbow. If you're trying to use the longbow to kill a Derivitzia, make sure your longbow is moving, like strafing from side to side. That way you're not going to get dumpstered like that. But the TOW 2B, it can shoot anti-infantry rockets, which makes it very versatile and very strong. And the thing only costs like 65 points. So I highly recommend you guys using those for how cheap they are. They're a great added line of defense, you know, that you can just have kind of moving around, doing plenty of damage while you defend your flank. So really, again, that's my job, right? With this deck, I just want to defend my flank, and I want to do air strikes, if I can speak, and I want to do some airstrikes with the points that I'm saving up after I get all the infantry I need to create a line of defense. So probably not the best idea to keep. This is kind of a pet peeve of mine. If somebody has snipers in a building, don't be like me and put combat units like in the building too, because that's going to get you spotted, right? Because either they're going to see where your tracers came from, or the whole building's going to get spotted, and then that sniper unit's going to get seen, right? The whole point of snipers is they never want to be seen. So either put your snipers in a different building, or guys, don't put your combat units in the same building as a sniper. Yeah, just please. So huge attack that's coming out here now to the objective. I have these Ranger Mods and Airborne because I'm trying to support my teammate now that I'm basically set up, right? Don't just sit on your objective. Help your team out. I'm trying to move these guys in. Now, gosh, they stopped running, which was a horrible mistake. I should have kept them going into the building, but shame on me, I didn't. And these guys... So infantry out in the open like this, guys, they get absolutely demolished because HE shots from tanks do splash damage, and they are going to absolutely rinse these guys, which is exactly what you're seeing. I mean, those HE shells are doing maximum damage on my units. And yeah, basically all three of my units get absolutely demolished. If I had moved them into the building right away, I would have had a much easier time actually helping out with that defense. But here's where the Strike Eagle comes in. I absolutely love the Strike Eagle. Combining the power of the F-35A and the Strike Eagle is absolutely clutch to owning with this deck. I mean, you have probably the two best planes in the game. I mean, F-15E has just an immense cluster payload, which you're going to see right here. Kaboom! Right, triple kill. You're going to get an absolutely monstrous cluster payload with the F-15, and then you get the big old precision strike unga bunga big damage with the F-35A. So don't sleep on that. Like, those two planes together, that basically comprises my whole air tab. It's 4 F-35As, I believe, 4 F-35As, 2 F-15 Strike Eagles, and then a Raptor. So see how these TOW-2Bs can be really good fire support? You just bring them in when you need them. They're fast, and they can counter anything, right? They have, anti-tank with the TOW-2B, or TOW-BB for anti-infantry. I love having them out, and I usually try to bring all of them once my infantry are set up. So Kiowa Warrior, just in case. I mean, I actually have plenty of anti-air with the Stingers. But the nice thing about the Kiowa Warrior is it's so cheap. It's only 90 points with the AA package. So there's nothing wrong with just having a couple of them out. Now the Thunderbolt, again, you want to always keep it in the back. It's a really... I think I was just out of TOW-BB launchers. But yeah, look at this Stinger team, guys. They have 2 launchers, so you're getting really nice salvos to hit out onto any enemy targets. And you think, where are my Kiowa Warriors now? I think I totally forgot about them. But I believe, yeah, the Thunderbolt actually used its machine gun to kill the helo there. Now, the Thunderbolt getting spotted by the Derevitia, and guys, that 57mm, it does not mess around. I mean, it does an extreme amount of damage. And I just don't want any more of that smoke. So I pop my smoke and get out of there. I mean, just to guys show you, those 57s are mean. I mean, he was shooting the front armor of my Thunderbolt, but still absolutely trashed me there. So do be careful. The Thunderbolt, like I said, 525 pen, very powerful cannon, but cannot take any damage. So I'm trying to be a little more bold now and actually move supplies up. Instead of running my infantry all the way back, I'm trying to ferry the supplies up. So I'm feeling a little low on infantry. Again, that's a really big part of this deck, is you got to make sure you have enough infantry up at the front before, and then of course you start saving points to call in airstrikes. But as soon as your infantry are starting to run a little low, time to bring in more. I thought I was going to do another airdrop here, but maybe not. What am I thinking? What's in the mind of Jack right now? 27 minutes left in this game. Okay, here I go, queuing it up. And again, bring a little bit of everything. Some stingers, some maws, you know, a javelin team. You know, you just kind of want to bring a little bit of everything. And again, that's what makes this deck so nice, is because you have the ability to just very quickly, right? I don't have to like buy a helo for, you know, buy a couple of helos. I can just bring all of it in with one Hercules. And just in time, because here comes a tank push, getting the Ranger RRC up in the front to do a little bit of damage. Very risky, because now he knows that I'm there. But if I can sneak the Moz team in, they can all start getting some shots. And my hope was that if they're shooting at the infantry, that my tanks or my tank and my tow launchers could get some damage in. Right, that was these guys could basically flank. And Hercules goes down. I mean, that's kind of one of the things that I lament every time I want to bring out, you know, like a paradrop, is the plane getting shot down, because yeah, that's 185 points you basically throw away just to have the ability to bring all these infantry out. But that's why you gotta be as careful as you can when doing so. So now I'm just trying to spread all my infantry out. I think the best use of Delta Force, I see a lot of guys being very aggressively offensive with Delta Force, and that's not a terrible way to use them, but I think if you're going to do that, it's probably best that they're just the CQC variant. But I honestly think Delta Force on their own are best for, you know, like being a fallback point type of infantry unit. But yeah, my team able to kind of force the enemy back, and now we have them in sudden death. I wonder if the enemy is going to be able to push us back. They unfortunately did have a lever, which contributed to my team's ability to win. But guys, just want to let you know, please hop in, join us on the Discord. Over the past, I don't know, what, month or so that the game's been out. I think it's actually been 5 weeks now. The game has been out. We started out as a group of 7 guys, and there's almost 500 people in our Discord now. And we have lobbies going all the time. You know, like, please, guys, you never have to be alone again in a solo queue and suffering. I want to, I don't know, like maybe some of you guys, you know, in the Discord that watch this video, can you share about some of your experiences? Because it's honestly one of the coolest things I've ever experienced in gaming is seeing folks show up that are like, oh, I've never played with a group before. I don't really hang out on Discord. This is my first RTS game. I'm totally new. Can you guys help me? And they're like 350, 400 ELO. And within 1 week, these guys are 1,000 ELO. They're absolute chads. You know, they're sharing their strats. They're talking about different decks. You know, they're grouping every day. I absolutely love that. I mean, like, if my whole YouTube thing is never more than just people hanging out together and gaming together and having a better experience, then you know what? Totally worth it. You know, so please, you know, if you guys are playing Broken Arrow and you're just solo queuing and suffering, it does not matter what elo you are. We have guys in here that come in brand new at 300 elo. We have guys in here that are 1,750 elo and having a great time, right? It doesn't matter if you're, you know, you feel socially awkward or if you like to talk a million miles an hour. There's a group for you in here. So I know I kind of went off on a little tangent there, but guys, I just wanted to show you the power of this Airborne SF deck as a defensive infantry kit that gives you rapid response with things like helicopters that you could quickly reinforce your line. You can hold that point that nobody likes to hold because you're like, oh, I'm by myself. This is the deck for that, and it does it really, really well. And then once your defensive line is set up, you can start ripping out the planes and doing tons and tons of bombing runs. So I absolutely love it. It's probably my second favorite type of deck, but I will say it's also extremely reliant on your team, right? You can hold a point very effectively, but it's a deck I think you really only want to bring in a 5-stack because you can get overwhelmed, and if you don't have the ability to helo drop your infantry or do a airdrop of your infantry, you're going to kind of suffer. You really lose a lot of the power of what the deck has. But again, I love it. I love you guys for being here. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you on the Discord and on the battlefield. All right, guys. Peace.